No, the quiz you will be seeing is from the original user. To avoid copyright issue, I cut out the parts from the original video and added with a different effect. That way it will not cause any copyright issues. Basically, though, I just cut out from the original video, not the full part. I hope this will be helping for the YouTube community and enjoy the video. Enjoy. Throughout history, or based up in the 90s to the modern day, video games are pretty much the definition of entertainment, whether it be violent, friendly, kind, or even, well, sometimes both. And such as, there are several games are classic, like Duels, Nintendo Mario, Sonic, and etc. And when it comes to people to criticize or make you the force to play the games, these two are definitely the right people for the job. But who can win in a fight between these two legendary characters of fiction? Segata Sanshiro, the man who saved the SEGA Saturn, 90s. And angry video game nerd, the little nerd that make angry reviews on video games, and surprisingly a celebrity. My name is Deadsoul24, and my job is these two combined to see who win a deadly duo! In the late 90s, there was a war console between Nintendo's 64 and Sega Saturn's very own, Sega. Basically enough, there's a rivalry between the Nintendo and Sega. Both legendary companies are making the best games, and I bet you can guess which console is much superior. Go on, guess. I want you to guess. Nothing? Well, here's the thing. You see that Nintendo 64 is become that popular, it almost cost Sega Saturn. Well, let's be honest, it already failed. But however, Sega knew it might end like this, so needed a final way to bring out the sales of Sega Saturn. And then they think one interesting and possible way to do it. They created this mysterious and the most insane commercial man known to mankind, Segata Sanshiro. While it may be unknown to start Segata Sanshiro's origin, but he is known for his talents. If you don't play a Sega Saturn, he'll come out and beat the hell out of you if you don't play it. That's basically not it about his origin, really. Well, if I were comparing from the modern day, I think Sega need him back because, well, comparing from Sonic Boom and the other games, this pretty much makes sense. But anyways, Sega Saturn is the sworn savior of the Sega Saturn, boyfriend of Saga Wars and Gara Ichigo and his previous life. Seriously, what about this guy? Okay, besides his bizarre history, Segata Sanshiro has gained some powers and abilities. For example, he is an expert in martial arts, being first degree in black belt in karate, and third degree in judo, and fourth degree in Bando. He also able to clone himself an unknown amount of clones. He able to seize side-shifting every time he crits Cone or even Cone himself at least. He is also surprisingly the master of disguise, when one time he was able to enter and break in under the disguise as Santa Claus of all things. He also has a heap elimination where he able to use his own body alone, generating a massive of steam, and then this ability considered as a superior to his other powers, which could be carry on and can also be used in combat. And surprisingly, he has 4-wall breaking, which can able to tell who worked on a game just by looking at a character. Yes, I know it sounds stupid, but let's just go on. He also has restoration, when he can cause random positive effect to happen to himself or others that may have gone either heal or increase speed himself at least. And if I may or may not be wrong, he may or may not have immortality. He is seemingly still young, surprisingly, even over 3,000 years. In the future in the RG Sonic series, he also had a Saturn Burning fight where he grabbed his opponent, and did it like a Bomberman style, without a trace. Like, he thinks that his opponent is an actual bomb. He also from my fight moves and also movesets from games such as Project X Zone, such as Burning Winter, increase or someone else's speed. The SEGA Sanshiro cause a random positive effect to happen to himself or others. Use your head, which basically he performed a headbutt. Rescue lives, where he uses CPR skills to revive someone from the dead. The Dragon Force, and it's not like a dragon, but he able to create a dozen of deflect of himself, then usually follow a massive rush, followed by all them Segata that will usually follow this up with using his user head. He also has the path of play where he jump his opponent with a jump kick, and also then speeds and then grab them and perform a bomber. And his last moveset is the serious play. Seriously? The serious play? Okay. I mean, like I said, it seems a little bizarre to me. But anyways, serious play is when he performs a jump kick, then a roundhouse kick, and then finally charges with a Dragon Force. And surprisingly, compared with other video game characters, it does make sense. Sega definitely earns the title as the savior of the Sega Saturn, well, kinda. And for many reasons. He encouraged a martial arts battle against several machines with a minefield within. Took over Santa to deliver presents all over the world on Christmas, just sake for carrying on the Sega Saturns. He would travel across Japan for the sole purpose of punishing those who aren't playing the Sega Saturn. Yes, that's true. He also battled Yuriki and Laura and friend Shiro in Project X Zone 2, though he did later lost. Yep, based on that. He also certainly dated Sakura from Sakura Wars, a game that I had no idea what purpose, no offense. He managed to race against Sonic the Hedgehog and Friends in the Sonic and Friends racing game, and still ride on a missile, the same one that he prevented the Sega headquarters to be exploded. He dueled Sonic the Hedgehog himself in the RG Comic series, although he did lose. His most impressive feat is stopping a missile from hitting Sega headquarters. Although he did quote-unquote died, but that could be a possibility he may still live. Well, kinda. Well, surprisingly, I'm surprised that Sega Sanshiro is that tough, and surprisingly much for the scariest opponent I ever seen. Okay, do not underestimate Sega for a reason. He is powerful, but he have his own flaws. He attempted to make Yuriki and Yura to play in the center by force, but it was been defeated. he ultimately could not say the Sega Saturn because, well, let's face it, it's gonna fail pretty soon. It's also worth mentioning that, well, Sega Sanshiro also has a few flaws, but however, in the end, Sega Sanshiro is still proven that he is no threat. And besides, his zombie moves cannot work on people going zombies for some reason, but Sega Sanshiro will be always remembered as a man who saved, quote unquote, saved the Sega Saturn. And such, he'll live on the hearts. If you don't play the Sega Saturn, he'll beat you up. Also, weird fun fact, do you know the actor who played as Sega Sanshiro also played as Kamen Rider Ichigo in Kamen Rider series? Yeah, it's definitely a fun fact to remember. Okay, besides that, let's get to the next opponent. Drop video games from the classic and based on the modern, there's been tons of classics that are masterpieces like Legend of Zelda, Nintendo Mario, Castlevania, etc. But there are some video games pretty much have the left stick, and by that, I mean they suck. So, there's one reviewer that will not determine to go out his shell and pretty much will base it out review, which is Angry Video Game Nerd. Not much is known about him in the past, but we do know that Angry Video Game Nerd was originally by Cinemassacre, or is it Cinemassacre? But anyways, the creator James Ryan wanted to review games, so to make sure he'll review the game, he decided to go on his first and legendary game that he wanted to do, which is Castlevania Simon Quest, aka Castlevania 2. Yes, I know, seems strange, but I immediately see my experience. For starters, he started a little rough edge. I mean, that's beginning in 2000s, but however, when it released, it pretty much have a high rating. Well, if you read it in the original state. And so after, there's been hundreds of games reviewed in each episode, from 100 to the current day. And basically enough, Angry Video Game Nerd will make his life mission, make sure to destroy and review and turn all those games into poop, and making sure that his reputation will not stop. And then later on face up with a critic and being a TNT fan. To be fair, at least he's much more interesting. And this is probably my first time doing on an internet character that based on in real life. But anyways, James Brand as his real name, as his character, Angry Video Game Nerd, is a world-renowned video game reviewer and rival to Disaster Critic in the YouTube series, well, kinda friend of me. And as a gamer, he could have his own game. Angry Video Game Nerd has a ton of abilities such as flying, where he's able to keep able to fly as Superman style, laser eyes, where he's able to fire devastating laser from his eyes, Cryomancer, where he's able to freeze everything similar to Sub-Zero, and perfectly immobilize his enemies. He managed to also have the size manipulation, where he's able to grow hundreds of feet tall in an instant. Explosion middle finger, where he's able to make things severely explode just for flipping them off. The F-bombs were to infinitely damage upon opponents just by saying the F word. And yes, that sounds weird and stupid in my opinion. He also has a built-in auto system, where you have a built-in auto system like the Terminator. He also performs some several techniques such as Hadouken from Ryu's signature Duels, or the Sonic Boom, similar to when he can perform a Gaio's Sonic Boom from Street Fighter similar to Ryu's. And he wanted to do a Chuck Norris version. He can chase shift into any animal's appearance. And yes, this is a reference from Chuck Norris and Animal Forest, or is it Forest Ranger? But anyways, Besides the abilities, he has a ton of arsenal. I mean a ton. He had the power glove, where he can able to smash through stone and instantly capable to create explosions with his punches. He also had a rolling rock, it's just a beer when he get to restore his health. He had an NCS zapper, where he can able to fire like a gun, and powerful enough to obtain Jason Voorhees' head at minimum. He also does super scoop. It's basically on more than a zapper, but the only difference is it can able to fire actual bazooka, fires a stream of lasers and unlimited ammo. He also does SEGA Massacre, a Sega's answer to Super Scope, and just as power as a Super Scope, and also a RE 2600 with like camera gun, which based on fire actual machine guns. He also the laser scoop can able to fire lasers from a removable scope, mostly used to deflect invisible objects and enemies. He also has a power pad, which can able to worn as a cape and capable to reflecting against portable objects. He has a bow and arrow, which can able to wield with great precision and skill. So basically, it's based on focus. He also has the katana, when he able to wield it to steal as a samurai when he cut down the TMT3 videotape. He had the lightsaber, which somehow has a lightsaber from during his fight during Massacre. A whip can be used to grab things a distance away and also a short distance. A flamethrower, which to be fair can be used to get practical. He also had explosions, can able to throw explosion bombs at what we thought his enemies like Bomberman. Rocks, when he can able to use it to at Friday 13. He also has Super NC Power Suit. A power suit contains of multiple internal accessories, includes NCS events, the dual zappers, the power pad, laser scope, the super scope, and the force and the power glove. He also has his Kaboo, his personal house cat. He also has a glitch goblin, where basically summons a glitch goblin and summons enemies and hazards in his tracks. And his most powerful arsenal, Super Mecha Death Christ. Oh god dang it, this one. Where he able to summon a Mecha Death Christ to destroy enemies powerful enough to one-shot enemies without any trace. Angry VideoGame Nerd had definitely performed several feats. He founded Cinemassacre Productions. He had played and beaten nearly every single worst video games of all time, including Sonic 06, to separately create a deadliest and dangerous tube in Indiana Jones. He surprisingly had Michael Curran from the Home Alone 1 and 2 to play Home Alone games with him, fought the Massacre to a standstill, and one of the most recognizable people in the internet and personality ever been known in the earth. He also surprisingly had his own movie, compared from other movies from YouTubers. I guess that's kinda good. And surprisingly, he defeated Bugs Bunny, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Rob the Robot, and Messi Muksaki. Anyway, they have impressive feats. But Nerdist definitely have his flaws. He had very limited fighting experience. He get angry and frustrated fairly easily. He can sometimes be tricked easily at stand, and couldn't stop saying that every effort in every episode. But basic enough, I guess that makes sense since he had video Daisuva, where he resists with worse games. But despite this, Angry Video Game Nerd is a talented reviewer, and even though he may not have any fighting experience, but he is determined to do anything to make sure every single bad video game to be wiped without assistance. If you have a worse game out there, I highly suggest this is one nerd you can't get angry. Alright, combatants have been done, analyzed. Before I reveal who's the winner, let's go see the results that you guys voted, shall we? Let's go! Alright, over 16 votes, Segata Sanshiro get 56.3% and Angry Video Game Nerd have 43.8% of the voting. And surprisingly, it's almost close in my opinion. Well, there's only about a few comments and one that are very long. So, let's get to it. Bjorn stated that she stated that AVGM's maps content summed up pretty well, which I'm gonna get to that later. And Science.exe stated that Video Game Nerd has been PvP to bad video games and YouTubers before, so he haven't died. And Fortuna Material stated that MVG got this over strength superior at will. He also stated that he is beepless Segata and also in my speaks, and is based on the fashion I liked, and also stated the better durability since he managed his Gargus. Wait, is that the one that. Anyways, AVGN powers have this special abilities, including several ones, and have beyond warping and overwhelming Segata, and partly going at him as well. So, Angry Video Nerd wins. And I haven't seen this guy for a while. Giorno Hazedu stated that Segata will win. And based on that, AVG have much more knowledge on video games, but Segata have much more knowledge and experience. I do feel for speaking experience. Alright, that's a good call. Now, let's get to the winner. And the winner between two video game icons, one of real or fiction, is... Angry Video Game Nerd. As from the comment section, that's pretty much predictable. And to be fair, it's actually kind of stunk. But anyways, I feel like there are a lot of Sega fans gonna be out there questioning me why I let Angry Video Game Nerd win. Well, isn't that obvious? Well, anyways, let's get to the fight coverage why I stated that AVGN win. Alright, let's start with speed, and I will go towards some speed feats from Segata have kept up and surprisingly managed to launch a missile, and that's pretty much it. Although there are some impressive ones that were on feet, but there's no way in doubt that Angry Video Nerd just outsplits him at least, because he's been showing that he can able to speed to nearly almost anything, including able to come to the sun when SEGA Superman. So comparing from a missile and a flight toward the sun, I'm pretty sure that it makes sense that Angry Video Nerd gets the speed advantage. Same with strings. And to be fair, if you really compare this to a guy who just promoting commercials, and to be honest, in a cool way, but comparing a nerd can able to face a ton of things, including bringing the physical and literal port. Whoa! And as a video game, it really makes sense that this one gets to nerd. But intelligence is actually kind of hard. I will go towards Segata on knowledge on everything, but what? Nerd have much more experience with against bad games, little bad games. Even though he never played him, but to be fair, he have much more high intelligence when it comes to video games. So. Yeah, he pretty much can't withstand any what Sega counts for, and for experience, go with the nerd. Okay, I know Sega have much more experience against, doing everything, but nerd had much more experience with counts with most baddest, worst games of all time. I mean, seriously, this guy literally have a mental breakdown. He had much more experience with than Segata ever had. And not only that, the fact that he had way too much of alcohol, so the experience gives you a nerd and durability. What else am I supposed to say? Nerd gets it. And while Segata is immortal, but sometimes immortal will not save a fight. Because basically now Nerd has survived way of tons of days before, including surviving a blast from Pressing Man. Well, technically, sort of, but still, in the end, while Segata is a cool character and had much large movesets, but it was overwhelmed by Nerd's dump defeat by speed, strength, intelligence, experience, and durability, including a large rise and arsenal, giving an edge to win the fight. I guess you could say the Nerd really caused Segata to sound her down. The winner is Angry Video Game Nerd.
You're all so stupid! All of your souls are mine!
ゆうゆう子、聞いてたでしょ？あとは任せ。